So I'm so glad you're here today, man. I
Great.
honor you. I'm grateful for you being here and sharing a little bit with us today. So why don't we start with this? Let everybody get to know you a little bit. How did you become a Christian?
Okay. How to become a Christian? In ninth grade,
Ninth grade.
I showed up at my algebra class, first day of class, and there was a friend next to me, and his name was Mark, and he had a Bible on top of his books. And I was embarrassed for him, like, why are you carrying a Bible to junior high?
Yeah.
I mean, what? I mean, this guy's a good-looking. Girls liked him. He was very smart. He had been our class president a couple years before that, and he had a Bible on top of his book. I mean, I was embarrassed for him.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah.
But then it also started convicting me because he was being really bold with his faith, and so in no time I became what they call a Jesus freak.
Yeah. So you became a Christian because of his influence.
Yes.
And then other people. So and you. I think you told me you got a Bible and started.
Yeah. It's actually the same Bible.
That Bible right there.
Yeah.
That Bible's older than a lot of people in this room. Probably.
I read through the whole Bible in a year in ninth grade, so that's where God kind of got a hold of my heart in that way.
So you read through the Bible, the whole Bible, in the ninth grade.
Yeah. It was the Living Bible, not the King James.
That's okay, buddy. It's still that's varsity level, you know. Cool, man. So yeah,
I got a jean jacket that said Jesus on the back, and
yeah,
had my long hair, over my eye, and
yeah,
throw my hair back, and the girls would just swoon, and
yeah.
yeah.
Kristen, you like that? What's he do now?
I don't know.
That's good, man.
But I used to listen to some Christian second chapter of Acts. You ever heard of them?
Now, who's that? I read it in the Bible, but who?
It's a rock band in the 70s.
Yeah.
Christian
okay.
rock band.
Oh, Christian rock band. Anybody know? Okay. Yeah, come on.
How about Petra?
I know some Petra now. Okay.
Okay, there you go.
All right. Yeah.
Anyway, and so we had an underground newspaper. We had tracts we'd hand out in the halls, and I was just a Jesus freak. And so one of the other things that was very important to me back then is I started running long distance races, and I had a lot of success in running the mile because I broke the ninth grade record in the mile.
Is that right?
Yeah.
I broke the record too for the slowest mile ever. I decided to quit. Hung it up right then. So track running, very important to you.
Yeah.
And I think you've told me that your track coach is pretty influential, or didn't he help you go to FCA?
Yeah, he went to the Fellowship of Christian Athletes. If you've heard of them, and I can remember being in a prayer meeting with him, and he said to us, wherever two or three are gathered in His name, His presence is there. And I felt His presence in a big way in that particular time, where it just like God took over.
Yeah, and I think I've heard you say before, like you read verses, like there were verses that they would share with you, around track.
I would always read these verses before I had a meet, just because they were very special to me. The first one's in 1 Corinthians 9. It says, in a race, everyone runs, but only one person gets first prize. So run your race to win. To win the contest, you must deny yourselves many things that would keep you from doing your best. An athlete goes to all this trouble just to win a blue ribbon or a silver cup, but we do it for a heavenly reward that never disappears.
Yeah.
And that meant a lot to me because I put a lot of effort into running, and as you know, long-distance running can be really difficult. But he's telling us, look, we're doing this for a heavenly reward. Help me keep my focus right. And then the other one I really like was Hebrews 12. He says, since we have such a huge crowd of men of faith watching us from the grandstands, let us strip off everything that slows us down, will hold us back, especially those sins that wrap themselves so tightly around our feet and trip us up. And let us run with patience the particular race that God has set before us.
Yeah.
I think he's saying take your sweats off is what he's saying there. Each one of us is running a race. Or you could think of it as a hike or a journey. That's why I like the name Journey, but not the rock band, but the church.
I do know who they are.
Okay, good.
Yeah. But then you ended up going into ministry. You were a pastor for a long time. How did that happen?
Well, one of my friends, his name was Chris. In fact, I think he's listening online today. There were four of us that hung out together, and he thought it'd be a really good idea for all of us to become ministers or preachers or pastors.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, my friends were like, let's go to spring break. And your friends were like, let's all become pastors.
Yeah. Of course,
How'd that work out?
well, I'm the only one that became a pastor out of the four
Oh,
of
man,
us.
you
So,
fell for it.
yeah. He put the idea in my mind, but anyway.
Yeah.
So,
Worked on staff at a church.
sorry?
Did you work on staff at a church?
Yes, I went to Oklahoma Christian College, which is a small college in Oklahoma City, and I got a degree in Bible. And then my first church was in Norwich, Kansas, a town of 500 people.
Wow.
And we had a cow in our backyard.
You had a cow
Literally.
in your backyard.
Yeah. Kristen's really impressed with that, but
I bet. The hare and the cow.
yeah, yeah. Then I worked at another church called McPherson in
Okay.
McPherson, Kansas, and then finally I spent about 7 years at a University Church of Christ in Denver, preaching for them, teaching singles, working with youth, and so forth.
Okay. How did you guys come to Journey? How did you become part of the team here?
Well, there's a Christian music artist named John Waller. I don't know if you ever heard of John Waller. My son knows John Waller because he claims that John Waller led him to Christ.
Really?
I had nothing to do with it. You know?
I mean, you had a Jesus jean jacket,
Yeah.
man, and
Anyway, but my son found out that he was actually part of a church planning at Marriott and I-25, and it was called Southlink back then. And so my son went, and he encouraged us to come. We loved it. It was like a Christian rock concert every Sunday. So loud. Everybody had to wear earplugs. If you were over 40, we were the oldest couple, and we were in our 40s.
wow.
All the young people loved that Christian rock.
There's a lot of people over 40 in here now. I'm looking out at them.
Yeah. Including me.
Yeah.
So after a while, our founding pastor decided to leave, and then John Waller actually called you up.
Yeah. I've known him since we were like 14 years old.
Yeah.
He used to climb in my dorm room in college because he was trying to sneak into his girlfriend's dorm room.
Wow.
He's a good Christian.
Yeah.
He married her. It's cool. So what's been going on with you lately?
So I retired in August of 2021. I've always loved endurance sports like biking or climbing or swimming. I think there's some pictures here of me biking. And my cousin's that's me glissading. And
So I know this about you. You've climbed every 14er, right?
that's correct.
In Colorado.
Yeah.
Wow, that's incredible. How many summits?
100 summits.
Yeah. Yeah.
My son actually did it with me, so he's got as
incredible.
many as two.
I've climbed one 14er. It was the one you drive up and then walk up a little bit. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah. And then Pikes Peak, I guess, too.
That's two, yeah.
We're close, man. We're the same. So super active. And then what else is going on?
Well, after I retired, I wanted to participate in all those kind of sports and still, but I was feeling some numbness on my right side, so I went into a neurologist's office, and he diagnosed that I have Parkinson's disease. How many of you know anybody that has Parkinson's disease? They say 500,000 to 1 million people in America have Parkinson's disease. Wow. And it really does some bad things to you. It gives you tremors, rigidity, difficulty in walking, difficulty in speaking. The one good thing is I have a good poker face now. My wife always like, are you upset? I'm like, no, I'm not upset. Well, she goes, you're not giving any expression at all. So,
Wow.
good poker face.
It's challenging. I bet
Yeah.
that was emotionally challenging for you as well. I mean, thinking about doing all those things when you retired and having more time to do it
Yeah.
and knowing that, hey, that might not be an option.
Yeah. My next 14er, I'm going to be wearing a helmet
Okay.
and a walker. I'm gonna
And
use
a walker.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I fell actually off the last 14er I went on.
You did.
Yeah. Cut my head up a little bit.
Yeah.
I actually, about a month ago, I fainted in the bathroom and cut my head.
Oh, man.
Got 7 staples.
7 staples. Wow.
My nephew calls me Staple Guy now.
Yeah.
Or-
Young people are so encouraging, man.
Yeah. Yeah. I also fell on my bike about 2 summers ago and broke a couple of ribs and punctured a lung. And so balance issues are definitely becoming an issue.
Yeah. And speech and cognitive issues,
Yeah.
you said too. Yeah. So what has God been teaching you about all of this?
Well, when you get something like this, you always ask why me? You always ask why. I mean, I've been a Christian for over 50 years, a faithful Christian. Why would God let me suffer? And that's a typical question a lot of people would ask.
Sure.
I think it's all the experiences that I had in life that have prepared me for this particular disease. When I was 12 years old, I had a friend that we were racing down the street, and he hit his front brakes too hard, and he landed on his head. Killed him within 24 hours. That was when I was 12. So that really gave me, you talk about looking at life backwards.
Yeah, fragile.
That really gave me a knowledge that I wasn't going to be here very long, perhaps.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I went through the death of a couple of friends and my mother and my sister. I mean, we all go through deaths. We all have struggles. We all go through difficult times. And so there have been several passages that have really been helpful to me, and I wanted to share those with you if you don't mind.
Sure.
Matthew chapter 4 says this. Then Jesus was led into the wilderness to be tempted or tested by the devil. After 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. Don't you like how the Bible is just really plain?
Very obvious.
You
You
know,
don't eat for 40 days, you're hungry.
Yeah, you're hungry. I'm hungry after just a day.
4 hours, yeah.
Yeah. The tempter came to him and said, if you're the Son of God, tell these stones to become bread. Jesus answered, it is written, man shall not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. And so I'm thinking that Jesus was looking at rocks like this, and that looks like a loaf of bread, doesn't it to you?
Little dinner roll.
A dinner roll, yeah. Makes you hungry.
I know, if I had some butter,
So a couple insights into this passage. One is that it said the Spirit drove him into the wilderness. It also said he wanted to be tested. But the other insight that I got from this passage has really been helpful, and that is that suffering does not mean that God does not love us. Because in chapter 3, God praises Jesus. He says, I'm proud that you're my son. In chapter 4, he's suffering. In fact, the tempter came to him and said, look, why are you starving? Why you can make bread? Do you not trust God? And he's just trying to get him to not trust God is what he was really trying to do there. And so I think we can learn that suffering does not mean that God does not love us.
huge idea.
Yeah. The other insight is that the spiritual world trumps the physical world. What I mean by that is that the spiritual world can actually overcome anything that you go through physically, if you allow it to do that. Spiritual world, that's what Jesus is saying when he said, look, you can't live by bread alone, you can't live on the physical side of things, but you can live on the spiritual side of things, and that you can overcome all the things with that. So I think that's the other thing he's saying. James 1:2-4 says this, consider it pure joy, my brothers, when you face trials of many kinds, because you know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. That perseverance finishes its work, so you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. He says pure joy. He's saying when we go through troubles and trials, we should consider it pure joy. It's crazy when you think about it. But he said the reason why is because spiritually it's going to help you grow with endurance and strength, and it's going to make you even stronger. Develop your character. I like this quote that I got from Bible Project that says this. James says that we should reframe our hardships as tests. That offers an opportunity to deepen our trust in God and our own character. But as we encounter these tests, we can trust in the goodness of the one who's testing us. God has our best interests in mind and offers us opportunities, not traps, to strengthen and refine us. So I think if we can reframe anything that we're going through difficulties as an opportunity to grow your faith, actually a testing of your faith. And so I think the next insight is that living by faith means a change in the way we view trials. If you're just physical, if you're just in the world, you don't have God in your life, trials are just difficult, there's nothing to get through. But if you're spiritual, what you learn is that God can actually help you through your trials. He can actually make you stronger, make your faith stronger. 1 Peter 1:6-7 says this, so be truly glad. He's talking to people that have been persecuted. So be truly glad. There is wonderful joy ahead, even though you must endure many trials for a little while. These trials will show that your faith is genuine, is being tested as fire tests and purifies gold. But your faith is far more precious than gold. So when your faith remains strong through many trials, will bring you praise and glory and honor in the day that Jesus Christ is revealed to the whole world. So trials actually purify our faith. You know, if you melt gold down, you get rid of all the dross. And that's what he's saying. He's saying our faith is like pure gold. All you have to do is be encouraged with these tests or these trials that go through. So what I'm really trying to do with my battle with Parkinson's, I'm trying to treat it as a test from God.
Yeah.
Not that he's done it to me on purpose, not that he's trying to test me in that sense, but I just think the trial can actually test you, test your faith in God. So that's what I'm looking at. And that perspective changes everything.
Yeah.
When you understand that God, the suffering you're going through, God can actually build your faith through that.
Yeah. So we were talking about all this. You were sharing like some verses around James about some things, and then you were talking about a story with track and like those last laps. And so why don't you share that?
Can I stand up?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir.
Okay. I like to tell stories, so let me finish up with a story. When I was a senior in high school, as I told you, I ran track for all 4 years, and I was a miler for most of those years, but I wasn't a very good miler. What I found out my senior year is that if I doubled that and went to the 2 mile, I was a lot better runner. And so here I am my senior year. I'm in my last opportunity to run a race. If I take third place in the league, then I get to go to state. And that was our goal all along, is to go to state meet. But the problem is we ran against a team called North Glen High School. I was from Thornton High School. North Glen High School had the best cross-country runners in the whole state. In fact, they had won the cross-country championship that year, and their best runner in the whole state was on their team. I remember running against them. I only took like 6th place. It means I wouldn't even have made their varsity. So me getting the opportunity to take even 3rd place to go to state didn't look like it was very possible to actually happen. So here I am on the last lap of the last race I'm probably going to run, and my coach, and he had the, you remember the polyester shorts?
Oh, coaching shorts, man. 2 buttons right here. Pull it up tight.
Yeah. And he also wore a whistle all the time. I think he wore that whistle to bed, but I never saw him without the whistle. But anyway, when you're standing at the finish line, there's 4 corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. I came across the first 2 corners. When I hit the 3rd corner, my coach came running over, jogging. The first time I ever saw him jog, doing anything athletically, really. But
He's the track coach.
Yeah.
He doesn't run.
Anyway, he ran over and he yelled at me. He said, "On your toes, John, on your toes." What he was trying to do is encourage me to keep pressing on, to not let this guy in 4th place catch me. And so what I got out of that is I got this ribbon, one of my favorite ribbons, 3rd place, qualifying meet, 1976.
Yeah.
Class AAA.
That's incredible, man.
Yeah. Not many people would think a 3rd place ribbon's that important, but
it is.
So I can also relate to Paul, because Paul, at the end of his life, he said something to Timothy that I want to share with you when we finish out here. Paul says to Timothy, "For I'm already being poured out like a drink offering, and the time of my departure is near." What he's saying is like, I know I'm going to die soon, is what he's really saying. He said, I know there's difficult times ahead. And so he says to Timothy, he says, "I'm being poured out like a drink offering, and the time of my departure is close. I have fought the good fight. I've finished the race. I've kept the faith. And now there is a store for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will award to me on that day, not only to me, but to all those who have longed for his appearing." What I like about this passage, he's saying, finish the race. I've finished the race. I've gotten through everything I needed to get through. As I deal with Parkinson's, one of the things I'm struggling with is, this is probably my last lap in life. Think about it a little bit. It's like God's whispering to me, on your toes, John, on your toes. Keep the faith, stick in there, be strong, finish the race.
Yeah, let's honor John today. Thank you, man. Thank you, my friend.